Hello and welcome to this live edition of the Impact Report by Abimbola Victoria Linde. And today I have with me one of my mentees, Praise Inadozie. And this is part two of the series that we've been running. Uh, some days ago, I had a session with one of my mentees, Grace, who also came on board to talk about our impact. So basically, what we are doing here today is talking about the social impact that we have brought to the value chain of social impact in 2025. I run a visionary mentorship accelerator program where I am raising um, social impact leaders that are going to create ripple effects in their various areas of impact. So, for example, Praise is focused on the creatives, is focused on helping creatives to be better managers of their creativity, of their talent. And she's raising a 10,000 women force. That's huge. And the movement is all about us raising people like ourselves. So I have raised them to become like me in their various endeavors. So not necessarily doing what I do, but in where they are, become the best version of themselves so that they can actually live of themselves in the best way possible. So that is the um just give me a moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. Add
Okay.
a little something I needed to attend to urgently. So, like I was saying, VMAP is all about raising visionary social impact leaders across various sectors of the world, raising reformers who will reform their various jurisdictions. So tonight we have Praise, who is going to be talking to us about how VMAP has been for her and what she has been able to deliver through the learnings, through the insight, through the mentorship that she has received. So this is Social Impact Report. We are reporting the VMAP impact through Praise, and Praise is also reporting the impact that she has been able to um, bring into our own space, into our own sphere of influence by virtue of the ripple effect that VMAP is creating. So, Praise, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thank
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling all right. Thank you for having me, ma.
Well done, well done. So, tell me, before we dive into the impact, what has VMAP been to you? What has been the experience like? What impact has VMAP has in your life? What has it been like for you?
Okay. For me, VMAP was like a turnaround moment, a season that my life actually needed. And I a backstory that you need to hear is that I used to be someone that was that like I always knew that I was this creative person, and I always knew that I was born to do something, but what I didn't know was how I should actually structure that, or how to actually start in a way that it will yield better impact in the world.
mm,
So, but when I encountered VMAP, like it was as if a veil was lifted from my eye. I saw that being creative is not the only thing. You, after being a creative, you need structure. So that was what VMAP gave me. VMAP gave me structure. It gave me a roadmap, and I can assure you now that I am no longer someone that just knows that she's a creative person. I am someone that now has a roadmap to where she's going to. I can see where I'm going to, and I am already moving towards that. So that's what VMAP did for me, and I'm totally grateful because I'm no longer
amazing,
stuck.
amazing, amazing. From stuck to unstuck, and I believe that's really really amazing. That's one thing that a whole lot of people need in this dispensation, especially in a world whereby there's a whole lot of technological advancement, a whole lot of AI here and there, and it's easy to get lost in the world that we're living in. You're multi-talented, you have so much to offer, but then you don't know which direction to go, you don't know which way to go, you don't know how you're gonna do it. I'm really, really, really happy to hear that, you know, with everything that you have learned from VMAP, you have clarity. You have clarity. So can you give us like one major example of, the clarity that you're talking about? Like, you know, I want somebody to hear you and actually see how real, the real, the quantifiable, there's a difference between what you can explain and then what somebody can touch, you know almost like something like take us through that journey or that specific thing, the specificity that somebody can be able to relate to, and maybe a creative person can relate to.
Okay, first of all, I got to realize that any gift that I have is actually for impact, it is not for me.
Mm,
So that alone kind of helped me to set a pattern for myself. So now I know that whatever thing I'm doing, for instance, I used to be, or I am still a graphic designer. I design, I take images of people, I edit well, I do video editing, I tell stories, I love to write and all that, but I was just doing it for fun. I was just doing
mm,
it for fun. I could not connect it to how I could use those things for social impact. I was just doing them because I loved doing them. But um encountering VMAP kind of changed my mind. Like I started asking myself, yes, you have this gift.
mm,
Yes, you used to like tell people why not go and do this or go and do that. Why can't you then see this as an assignment? As
mm,
God, like it helped me to actually see that this thing that I have now that I am seeing as something that is easy for me is actually something that I can use and liberate others. So
mm,
I now know that yes, you like doing these things, they come easy for you. But what about others too that are around you? How are you going to use it and like make a good impact on them? So now
mm,
I know that whatever I'm doing, I am supposed to actually allow these gifts to actually transcend to a bigger goal.
mm,
So I am no longer doing it because I love doing them. I am now doing it. I am now that energy is now for like a greater goal, for impact in people's life.
mm,
Like, I don't know how to explain it better, but I just know that it's no longer for me. It's now for others. So that's what VMAP did
amazing,
for me.
amazing. I love what you just said, and if you just imagine the kind of world we would live in if everybody is thinking that way. That your creativity, your ability to teach, everything that you can do is not for yourself because your life is too small to be the reason for your life. There has to be a bigger reason why you exist. Imagine the kind of world we would live in if people like Steve Jobs didn't think beyond themselves. If people like um, Bill Gates didn't think beyond themselves. We wouldn't have Apple. We wouldn't have, Microsoft. You see what I mean? Imagine if people like Elon Musk didn't think beyond themselves. We won't have things like Tesla. So that's where, so imagine, you are a creative person, and you are now thinking of what are the solutions that I can create for creatives like myself, and imagine if everyone in our world, is actually thinking of how they can use what they have to better the lives of others. We would definitely have a better world. We'll have a world full of more innovation. Yes, we already have technology, moving at a breakneck speed. But just imagine that kind of world whereby everybody's thinking of the other person. Okay, how can I better their life? And at the end of the day, you cannot solve problems for people, and it will not come back to you in form of resources. Because at least look at the three names that I've mentioned. They didn't set out to, because I'm doing it because I want to be a billionaire. No. They just set out to solve a problem. They just set out to solve a problem that they have probably experienced, which is their own origin story, their own. So tell us, can you take us on the journey of your own origin story? Who is praised, like, how did you arrive at, knowing that you are creative, your original design, like what, tell us, give us a bit of that background, to give somebody more insights, and then how that now ties to why you chose to do your impact project and what you have done, because it gives a more holistic view of, we're not just doing things just because we just feel like doing it here. We are doing it from a depth, we are doing it from a knowing, we are doing it from a place of understanding, a place of original design, not just because it's a nice to do or it's a nice to have. Do you understand my question?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Okay. So my origin story, like I've mentioned before, I grew up knowing that I was creative because naturally I love to draw, I love to illustrate, I just love anything that comes from my imagination. I remember drawing most times and going and running to show my mom, "Mommy, see what I did, see all this kind of stuff and all that." But the issue I had was that I didn't have people around me that could help me channel this or even help me see it as a gift. I actually took it as just something I love doing, like a play or something. But I didn't have someone around me. I didn't have anyone around me to tell me, oh, see, you can actually channel this into this. You can actually start learning, let's say, for example, graphic design and start making flyers or do something like that. I didn't know. And I was this blind for up to 19 years of my life. It just kept on going that way. Like until I had an encounter and I was part of an event that was hosted by someone, and this person just chose that day to come and talk to us about YouTube, talk to us about tech. That was in 2020 March. So when he came, one thing I noticed, or one thing I would say others noticed also, was that anything that he says, I pick it up fast. Like I picked up everything that he was trying to say as if I had already known it before, but I
Mm.
didn't actually know about it. But I was just very quick to pick everything. And in the midst of that, I was already showing others, oh, this is how he said we should do this. Oh, this is how he said we should do this. So
Wow.
after that day, after that event ended, a friend of mine now came close. He was like, I've looked at you. I think you have something to do with creating things. Why not you start learning graphic design on your phone? And guess what? We were actually going on a break after that. Like the next day, we were asked to go home from school. So, but that question, why not you start designing something on your phone, is stuck in my head
Mm.
because I was like, when you said that, I was like, wait, I've had a phone for the longest time, and I didn't know that I can actually start doing
Yeah,
something
so
on my
much
phone.
power.
I
Wow.
had no idea. Yeah. So when I went home, the question kept resounding. Why not you pick up your phone and start doing something? Just I didn't know anything about graphic design. I knew nothing about I just knew that it's something I used to see on the road and I will admire it because just because I love creativity, I would just stand and look at it and watch. I would say, okay, okay, okay. That was it. So
Mm.
after I went home that day, I just remembered that I stayed indoors. I stayed in my house for like 3 months. I stayed indoors. What I was doing was just learning how to design on my phone. It was not planned, like I didn't do it consciously, but
Mm.
I opened my phone and saw and started browsing on YouTube. How do I do this? How do I do that? And that was how I kept myself busy for 3 months straight. I didn't see my gates, my compound gate that period in
Wow.
2020. So it was just like a new fire was just born in my heart. And I could not just explain it, but it was just there. So, and how God just showed me mercy immediately. I think after like 3 months I started, God now had to like lead me to another person that could teach me a little bit of what she knows about designing on laptop.
Mm.
So I started going to her office. I started going to her office every time, every morning. I'll just pack my bag, carry myself. I didn't have a laptop, but I'll just go to her office to use her desktop and just do whatever. You won't believe that after like 1 week, I was not the one like trying to explain design to her. She was not like,
Yeah.
are you not the one that came here the other day that I was trying to explain how to use system and design? How come you are the one trying to explain to me? And I said I don't know, because the thing just
Um,
comes, like it just comes that way. So
mm.
it just happened. So this is just like a background story to show where I'm coming from. But fast forward to 2021, I ventured into photography and editing. And that was when this happened, when this happened, because it seemed as though when like all these things that are happening, it's not like anyone used to sit me down and tell me you have to do this way or do this that way, or like you just like at each step I just have an idea of what to do and I do it and it works out, so I just keep moving. So I don't know if it's to call that grace. So, but I believe it's grace. So 2021, I also saw that another thing that I could do with my phone was to take images of people and edit it for them. So I started doing that in school, and and it came to a point where almost everyone, like most of my peers, now knew me as my brand name, because then I had to get a brand name and all that. So this is just like where I'm coming from. So now, what is leading me into um impacting people through creativity and clarity is because I feel that, not I feel, I know that is where, should I say, God has been, that part of my life is where I would say God has been using to actually touch me directly. I don't know how to explain it, but I hope anybody listening understands what I'm trying to say. But
Mm.
that's the part that I can tell you in almost all steps, I can literally see a divine hand on it or in my life in that part, and it's telling me do this, do that, do this, do that, and it's working. So
Mm.
yes. So well, I after VMAP, or as I was going through VMAP, it was just there. I just knew that this is it. Like it was very strong in my heart. This is what, because VMAP made me to actually look back with a better understanding, look
Mm.
back at my life, ask myself questions. Okay, yeah, this and this happened for you those times. What exactly did you make out of it? How do you think this thing can impact someone else? So I now realize that a lot of people around me, a lot of people around me, young people like me, they don't really have, like I said, nobody was there to actually tell me you could do this. It took 19 years.
Mm.
It took me staying for 19 years before someone could actually tell me why not do this like this. I would have missed out if that question did not drop.
Mm.
So, and there are a lot of people, young people like me. I'm not the only person that is this creative. I'm not the only person that is gifted. But people are looking for, people need people that are actually observing them or can actually tell them, okay, I've seen you have this gift and I've seen you can do this and I've seen what you did here. Because most times we don't even know what we are doing most times. Like
Mm.
for people that are still like, they don't even realize what they are. They just do it because, oh, it just happened, but they don't know that this might be like a pointer to a gift that they have. So people need people that are around them that can actually tell them, I've observed this in you, I think you should try this out, can I guide you in this, can I, like, people need that. So that is the kind of impact that I am in now. I want to help young
Mm.
people, and I'm already doing that. I'm already doing that. God is already sending young people my way that actually need this kind of touch, and I can see that He's also helping me in doing that.
Amazing.
So
Amazing, amazing. While you were talking, it just shows, how sometimes the environment that we are in does not favor our original design. And by providence, by the hand of God, you just find yourself in an alternate universe where you just need to hear one thing that activates you, that catalyzes you, that opens your eyes, that unlocks the potential that already lies within you. Because obviously, from one class, it was as if you were already wired for that language, but nobody around you was speaking that language. But the moment you heard the language, it was as if, um, a lot of codes were unlocked inside your memory codes. A lot of codes was unlocked inside you because you already graced for it. But you just needed to be at the right place at the right time, listening to the right person, hearing the right thing. For your inner man, for your spirit, for your soul to be in sync. That is what we call alignment. It's that perfect alignment that has brought you into that dimension. And you know how the scripture says you hear a voice behind you telling you which way you should go. That is all, from everything that you said, is that's been your experience. But you needed to first be in a room where the languaging was aligned to your original design. That's why you were able to pick it up beyond every other person in the room, and it was as if you knew it before, but obviously it was just something that you were wired for, and then you became activated for it. And what you are saying is that you have now become, because you didn't have that growing up, you have now become the vision of possibility for people like yourself. Because most young people, if they can't see it, they don't know that it is possible. They can't see it, they can't dream it. If they don't see somebody else that is doing it, because there are lots of narrations out there online. But most of the time, imagine for 19 years, and it's not as if even before you were 19, there was no social media, but you still didn't get the person that would speak in your language. Imagine that. And that's the same thing that is happening for a lot of young people. They are wired in a certain way, but they are seeing a lot that everybody is doing skits, but I mean, you're a creative person, but it doesn't mean you're a skit maker. You see what I mean? You're a creative person, but it doesn't mean that you're a filmmaker. It doesn't mean that you understand. But imagine that everybody out there that is creative, there are more people that are creating skits, more people that are creating movies than people that are actually creative in your own dimension. So we need more voices to go into the space of influence, to go into the space of impact, to be able to help people to unlock their original design, to unlock their original potential, to be able to come to the realization of who they truly are, so that it's a world that is long gone, that parents would say, oh, you cannot be drawing, you cannot be an artist to be great, or you cannot be a musician to be somebody, or you cannot be, that world is long gone. That world is long gone. But we are in a dispensation whereby is your gift that will make room for you, and will bring you before kings, it will bring you before nobles, it will bring you before people that would actually value it. And that is the conversation of impact that we're having tonight. More people need to step into their original design in such a way that they are able to live from a place of peace, a place of equilibrium, a place of divine balance, whereby there is a resolution of who they are on the inside. And that is what would inform how they engage the world. Now tell me, Praise, with the clarity that you have now with VMAP, yes, you've been doing all of this, but now you've been VMAP has been able to help you to put structure to it, to help you to understand the purpose, and give you the engine to be able to drive this thing to make it bigger and all of that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how more, when you compare before VMAP and now, the ease that you feel with dispensing what you do now and how you're doing and what you're doing, and how, and the possibilities that you see happening, what would be your ease scale? At what level would you say, how do you feel when now, with what you do? Hmm.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 7.
Hmm.
I would say 7. Yes, because I know that as time goes on, I will still be understanding more things. But that's like I would say I came from 2 to 7. I was at 2 before, but I'm at 7 now. So
Okay.
yes, I am. I am. I'm seeing clearer now. Like, if not for anything, the fact that VMAP made me understand that I can actually start from where I am. I think that's the highest thing. Like VMAP did for me, because it made me to see a lot of possibilities.
Hmm.
Because before I used to
Okay.
like think from a long distance then to where I am, but now I'm thinking
Hmm.
from where I am to somewhere far. So it's helping me see some a clearer. It's helping me have a clearer scope of what I'm doing.
Hmm. Amazing. So now tell us about the the VMAP impact project that you executed. Take us step by step. What inspired that particular movement? Why did you choose it? Why did you choose to do it that way? And what was the experience like executing that?
Okay. Um, I I was inspired to actually do something, because I found out that most of the questions that
Mm,
come to me actually come through ladies like me. I've gotten
mm,
questions like, "Praise, how are you doing this? Like, what always spurs you on? You don't get tired. Like, I'm always seeing you doing one thing or the other. I'm always seeing you posting this win or that win and all that.
mm,
How are you doing?" It's always ladies. So I knew that, and most of them will boldly just come to me and tell me, "You're actually an inspiration to me, even though you don't know." So
mm,
that is what inspired me. I said, let me start with my fellow ladies, because at least I can understand them much better. So that's what inspired 10,000 Women First Vision. And the goal of it is actually, like I said, VMAP helps me to understand that I need to actually make impact. That
mm,
impact is drawing others and then us moving forward. So I need them, and they need me. So that's what inspired it. So I am ready. Why it is women first is because I believe there is, should I say, I've witnessed it, not just a belief, I've seen it play out. Women are gifted. I believe women are gifted strategically. Like, there's
mm,
something about us that God did.
mm,
So, and I've worked with women and I've seen the way they think most times. I'm not saying men don't think a certain way, but like, I know what I'm trying to say.
mm.
There's a reason why
How they will
we
drag
are
you.
wombed. There's a reason why we are wombed men. So like I believe there's something that we carry in the creative world that the world actually needs. So that's why the vision came. That's what inspired the vision, 10,000 Women First.
Mm.
So yes.
Yeah, so take us on the journey, how it was executed, the challenges
Okay.
faced, um, how many lives were impacted, what was the feedback, and what does the future hold for 10,000 Women Force?
Okay. So the I started first by praying and asking God to direct me. Then I had to get a name. The name came Clarity and Creativity Sports. I called it a sport because I wanted it to be something like inner, like something very, very, I don't know how to, but something tangible. But like, I don't know how to explain it. Sorry about that. So, but that was how I was inspired. So, and I started by sharing a flyer. Okay, I designed the flyer, then I shared it out on my status. I shared it to my contacts, and I asked them to help me share out also. I shared on TikTok, I shared on LinkedIn, I shared on different platforms, and I called it a calling, because that's how I was inspired, a calling unto the doers. God is calling doers. That's how I heard the whole thing, and I wrote it down. So I had to call. So it was, for me, it was a calling, so that people that understand can actually come. So at the
Mm,
end of the day, 40 women signed up to be a part of it. Yes, 40 signed up to be a part of it. So I added them to a WhatsApp group, and that was how I kept on reminding them about the day. They also helped in sharing the flyers and all. So as by 6th of December, that was on a Saturday, we held the sports, the clarity and creativity sports, and there were lots of questions which were also answered, and they were all centered around clarity. This same thing that I've actually trying to explain, clarity in the sense that most of them know that they can actually do something, but they don't know where to start, and they are also disturbed, or should I say distracted, by financial burden because of
mm,
how the
mm,
third world countries. Yeah. So, but I was able to help them see that they can actually trust God in
mm,
directing them further, and they can actually, I made them understand that there's a reason why they've been called the way they've been called. There's a reason why everything that has been happening around them has been happening the way it is. So they need to have faith. I emphasize the need for faith, because their faith is based, I believe faith is needed very much in this journey of
mm,
creativity. And I help them also understand that everyone is creative, because I feel there is this misunderstanding that we have in the world. When you say creativity, most people usually think what you're talking about is someone that is skilled in maybe music, or someone that is skilled in drawing, someone that is just, but then I made them understand that creativity is just having the ability to solve a particular problem or even
mhm,
many problems. So many, yeah. So I made them understand that that's what creativity is. Creativity is not, it's drawing, singing, and designing. They are all expressions of that, but like that is not what it is. What it is basically is helping you, is you having the ability, the gifting to solve a problem or many problems. So you can be creative in several fields, or in one field, or I don't know. So that's what I helped them to understand, and I believe that sank in. And I also made them to understand that they are God's greatest investment, because um when I started off, I also had moments when doubts actually crept in. You know, when you start comparing yourself to others that you shouldn't compare yourself to, you leave the path that you leave the path that God is calling you to. Like, you know how God has told you, has planned for you that from here you move to here, from here you move to here. You will not leave your lane. You will not move forward though. You will not be looking at another another person's lane that started like 20 years before you. So like that's
mm,
like distraction that comes from the devil. So I help them see that all those things are not really that. They should believe and know that they are God's greatest investment, and there's a strategic plan for them as they
mm.
are individually. So yes. So
Amazing.
the future for for 10,000 women force. The future, first of all, is that I am not going to back down, because I have seen something that, should I say, my I've seen the light. So I cannot even back down. So I'm not going to back down. That's one thing, one decision I've made. So there is more ahead. So I am planning to, already they are asking me about part two. Like they want us to host another part for this kind of stuff that we did now. So I'm
Mm,
hoping to bring in more people that will come in that are already established in this field according to God's direction.
mm,
Bringing more people that will come and help them see. And it has always been my, should I say, my prayer that I will be able to get to the point where I can host a skill festival where people can just come and learn what they need to learn.
mm,
And I don't actually want it to be like online stuff. I want it to be a village, like a skill village, like where people can come and just, not just that they will learn, you help them see whether they are called to do that before they start, because that's
mm.
that's where clarity starts from. So yes, that has been, and I know that it's going to come to pass, because I really want,
Absolutely.
I've seen what it can make of a person, for someone to be to have clarity and then walk in the path that they've been called. It actually, it helps a lot. It helps you have inner peace. So I know that that cannot be traded for anything. So that's what my goal is, essentially. Should I say that's one of the highest things in my mind now, or loudest things in my mind now.
Mm,
So yes, but
amazing.
I'm going to continue the webinar sessions and see where that leads us.
Amazing, amazing. So, if you are watching this right now, you're watching us live or you're watching later the replay, this is your cue. If this sounds like a movement that you want to partner with, a movement that you want to sponsor, get in touch with us so that you can be a part of the 10,000 Women Force. So that, because you can see it, we have lots of youths that are unemployed, youth that are not engaged. They are engaged with the wrong things because nobody is engaging them at the depth of who they are, at the core of who they are, at the core of their original design. So anywhere belle face, whatever is available is what they go with. But imagine an environment or an opportunity whereby these youths are actually reoriented. Their mindsets are re-engineered in such a way that their skills are channeled in the right direction based on their source code. I think that's like the programming language. There is a source code for everything. So imagine you're able to get to, and that is what VMAP does for you, and that's what VMAP has done for Praise. It gets you to your source code. We're able to get to the root of who you are by original design. And through that, we're able to help you to now begin to flow from that stream. Not just, everybody, my friends are going into football. Okay, so maybe I want to be a footballer. Oh, my friends are going to fashion. So means, peer pressure. All of these gallivanting, running after every wind of doctrine, everything that everybody, what is trending. You understand? VMAP spots that and helps you to blur out the noise and then helps you to connect with your original design, know who you are by original design, and then the systems that are being put in place to now help you build something that would inadvertently give you peace of mind, and of course would be something that leads to legacy impact, which is what Praise has spoken about. So if Praise and the movement that she has started by virtue of being a VMAP graduate sounds like something that you want to partner with, contact us because this is really huge. And we are opening opportunities for you to sponsor young people like Praise to also go through VMAP to be able to discover themselves and then go and create more people like themselves. You see what we're doing? I equip young people, I equip visionaries, I equip social impact visionaries to become who they really are. You're not just doing it because it's a nice to do or you just feel like it's a nice thing to do. You're just doing it from a selfish point of view. No. And doing it because this is actually your calling and this is the stream that needs to continue to flow. So praise tell us, I have spoken about sponsorship, but in what ways would you want somebody that is listening to this to support this mission, to support this vision? What do you think, what external force do you think you would need, to take this further? You've mentioned something about bringing more experts and all that. So tell us, what are the things that you feel would move 10,000 women force to the next level?
Okay. Yeah, one of the things I think is there needs to be more. I need people that understand this vision with me, that can help me reach
Mm,
out to more people, because like I mentioned, there were only 40 that signed up in the class in the sports. There were 40. There are also people like them out there that were not able to see the flyer. So if
mm,
this could go out, we need sponsors to run sponsored ads on places like TikTok and all, so that there can be many that will actually see this and understand it and want to come in. Also, a lot of people have actually put in interest in learning one skill or the other that they actually gifted. At least I know of someone that I actually saw her work, and she's actually very gifted and creative when it comes to colors, knowing what matches, designing and all that. Like, I just saw her and I felt like she was another me. But the issue she had was she didn't have the right gadgets to support
mm,
herself. She was she's struggling, or she was struggling with a phone that was hanging. She can't even make calls with the phone easily, but she was still insisting on using it that way to still design and make something out. So I met her at the point where she was already giving up. So I felt God actually brought me to her so that I can encourage her. So
Mm,
when I saw what she did, I was like, this person is actually someone that is reminding me of myself. So I was inspired to actually gift her my first laptop, the first laptop I got for myself as a graphic designer. So that was one of the things I did. And I was like, this lady now, there are still lots of people like her out there who have not had the opportunity to meet people that can actually equip them the way
mm,
I did for her. So we need people that can actually sponsor, because after training these people, or should I say opening their mind to actually see and understand who they are, and for them to choose what, or for them to know what they've been called to do, they need gadgets, they need tools that can help them actually execute. So we need sponsors for that too. Yeah, I will be grateful if I have standby. In fact, I'm even thinking of. I've already told myself I'm going to like start making a personal plan on how I can be saving towards at least helping, even if it's one person or two in a year. Just buy something that they need to improve their skill and then hand it over to them. So that's where we need people. We need people to equip,
absolutely.
people that are actually serious minded.
Hmm. And absolutely. And this is why VMAP also needs funding, because as you are graduating, we should also give you funding to be able to not just, the first, when you do the first project, from what you have said now, we see what you have done, and we see that, okay, there is actually a market for you, or there is actually a cluster of people that actually need it. Then you receive the funding to actually, so BMAP can also be the first, because you've been trained, so you're already trusted to be able to use the fund for the right thing, not just because, oh, you understand. So that's also another thing that we're talking about. So VMAP, all the funding for future VMAP participants, future VMAP visionaries that we are going to also support, to be able to say, okay, yes, you have graduated. Okay, so like best graduating student, the first in the group, okay, or first top three, this is how much we are giving you for your impact project, because it was really impactful and you had the greatest impact. Okay, so go and do more. You understand? Then you give report. You understand? So so it's amazing. I love the vision. And for anyone that is listening to this, you can see what this is. VMAP has raised praise, and she is already raising. She's already been able to reach 40 out of the 10,000. You see, so it might look small, like a small beginning now, but that is where it starts from. That is where it starts from. So you can imagine VMAP impacted praise, and now she's going to impact 10,000, and it's going to even be more than 10,000. So that's what we are talking about. And she even has a figure in view. And for Grace, the first impact review that we had a few days ago also, she also had about 70 people that registered for the Speak Up Team event and all of that. So that's already to tell you that there is a hunger for these things. So VMAP raised Grace, and now Grace has been able to touch 70 more. You see, and and mind you, this 70, and I mean, I think about 20 people showed up. You know how people sign up for events and they don't show up. But at least the 20 people that she was able to speak to, they're asking for more. And the effect is that whoever that VMAP graduates pour into, the mandate is upon them to also go and do likewise to other people. So like Praise has done now, like that one person that she gave the laptop to, that person already has the mandate that they must raise another person like themselves as well. So the people that have attended Praise's workshop, the it, the mindset re-engineering is to stop thinking of themselves, but to also think of people like themselves. You can see the ripple effect. So even as Praise is it's targeting 10,000 people, those 10,000 also, imagine each one of them also targeting another 10,000. That is massive. That is the ripple effect that we are talking about. We're not talking about small stuff here. It is big stuff. And this is the kind of movement that you and I should in partner to do, to move, to create a great movement in 2026 and beyond. For whatever time and whenever year that you see this recording, there is room to make the world a better place through mindset reengineering, which is what VMAP does. It brings you from a place of chaos, you know everything, but it's not together, and then brings you into this holistic person that it knows exactly. When Praise was giving her testimony and she said, I can see 100 steps ahead. Now, Praise, tell us about that, your 100 step, 200 steps ahead, because somebody might be like, she says that, but I want you to explain that, for somebody to understand, because it's one thing I always say, that the number one thing that I strongly believe that will transform Africa is mindset reengineering. The number one thing that I believe that will transform the future of Africa is mindset reengineering. When the mindset of the youth is changed from poverty poverty thinking, when the mindset is changed from what's me, what can I eat, what can I, what me, my family, just your corner. When our mindsets are changed from that, and we begin to think, okay, what I have in my hand, it's not even necessarily, you can see now, Praise, it's not that she's saying the food that she's going to eat, she wants to share it with somebody. Can you see? It's not like, oh, the clothes I want to wear, I want to share. It's not that. Those are even, that's another channel. But it's talking about the things that God has wired you naturally to be. How do you turn it into a weapon that literally liberates people from poverty, that literally liberates people from small thinking, that literally liberates people from smallness, from being stuck, that literally liberates people and helps them to live at peace. Because trust me, like I said in my book, Finding the Equilibrium, the world is in chaos. And it's not chaos of cities, it's the chaos of the mind. A lot of depression is at an all-time high, anxiety is at an all-time high, suicide rate is at an all-time high. There is a crisis that nobody is talking about. And that is the problem that VMAP is solving. By the time you are able to find alignment between your original design and the problems of this world, you cannot be operating from a place of anxiety, dissonance, and all of those things. No, you're operating from a place of clarity. You know that you matter. You already know that you are here for a purpose. It is clear. So at that level, you are not thinking of suicide, you are not thinking of being anxious, you're not thinking, because you already know that your life matters and it is really, really, really important. You see the difference, you see the shift, but it takes a lot of inner work. It takes a lot of inner work. So Praise, back to the question that I asked you. Tell us about that 100 steps ahead, like at what point did that, like, how did you feel when you realized that, oh my God, I have more clarity than I could ever have asked for?
Okay. Yes. So I I think what the basic thing, I think I've mentioned it also earlier. The basic thing that helped me was when I saw that, should I say, my question was answered. The question I had was, you have all these things, yes. What do you do with it? Does it just end here? So when my eyes opened and I saw that all these things I have is actually for social impact for others, I just knew that there's no stopping. Like, I just knew that I'm
Hmm.
already in an assignment, and I'm going to be looking for channels to let myself to share parts of myself out, because I realize that the more I give out is the more I get. I don't know,
Hmm.
but like, I can use a stream to explain it. The more a stream gives off what it has, the more it gets cleaner and clearer.
It is.
So
Mm.
yes. So what I meant was, I'm going to give out the all of me that I have now and expect more growth to come for me to also give out. So like, I am no longer stagnant. So that's what I'm trying
Mm.
to. That's what I meant by
Mhm.
when I said I can see
Mm.
100
Yeah.
steps ahead
Mm.
of me.
Amazing. And the reason why they call the sea, a sea, a dead sea, is because It only receives, it doesn't give out. And then it begins to stink. So, you need to be ever flowing. You need to be ever flowing. And as you were speaking, the image of King David in the Bible came to my mind. He was in the wilderness, obscure, singing to his sheep. Of course, while worshiping God, the sheep too were listening. He had the opportunity to fight the bear, fight the lion, and all of that. He was in obscurity. And for that season of his life, it was for his own protection. It was just his communication with God. But by the time the time came for him to go to the palace, that gift, everything that he had become, that he had done, it dawned on him, just the
Came
way it's
to
dawning on you now, that it was for the people of Israel. It was never for him. It was never supposed to remain in the backyard. It was never supposed to remain in the wilderness. It was never supposed to remain just there as nothing. But somebody had to just mention his name in the palace for him to be brought out. So so you can see the transition. So sometimes you are doing things, okay, yeah, so that graphic design is feeding you, is putting money in your pocket, it's bought you a laptop, it did this for you, and it did all of that for you. So what next? Like you said, what next? Is this all there is to everything that you have, you know, based on my, everything that I've at some point, I am also multi-talented. So I see a lot of myself in you as well. I'm multi-talented. I sing. At some point, I thought, oh, maybe I was just supposed to be a singer, pursued music career and all of those things. At some point, I thought, okay, maybe I was just, I've always been an artist. I've always drawn. So that's what birthed my fashion business. So my drawing skills is what birthed my fashion business and all of that. So, but as I grow older, I begin to realize that, guess what? Every gift that you have is just a tool in the hands of God. It is not what defines who you are. That is not what defines your gifts, your talents, everything that, imagine me defining myself that, oh, I'm a singer. When singing is just a tool. When my voice can speak, my voice can motivate, my voice can inspire, my voice can re-engineer. You get what I'm saying? So you need to
yes.
come to the understanding that every gift that you have is just a tool that God has decided to install inside of you to be a multi-purpose use in his hand. So that if the people that he has sent you to need somebody to sing, you don't need to hire a singer. You can as well do the singing. You see what I mean? If somebody, like, I just began to realize that, oh, the talent and the gift that God has given you, they are without repentance. But that is not, you can see that that's not what defines who you are. You see what I mean? It does that is not the definition of who you are, which is why one of the core values of VMAP is that you must be able to connect to your original design. It's from that source that you become an overflowing ocean. That is why praise can tell you that, oh, I'm willing to give everything that I have now so that I can receive more. I am willing to give it all up, because she's talking from a depth, from a knowing that there is more where all of this that I already exhibit comes from. And imagine if we live in a world where everybody thinks that way. The likes of Bill Gates, they give away, like, is it 99 or 90% of their wealth yearly to charity. These are not even kingdom minded people, these are not even Christians. But they give it up, and they have remained at the top level for how many years? How many years has Bill Gates been top 10 most wealthiest people in the world? You see what I'm saying? But those are, so even they, you on the surface, they might not, you might say, oh, he's not a Christian, he's not king, but you can see there is a source from which they are operating from, that they know that this source can never run that. And that is when you're operating from your inner world. And that is what we are talking about. And of course, that's one of the major things that my book, Finding the Equilibrium, also does, because that is the manual for every VMAP graduate and for anyone out there, finding the balance between your inner world and the outer world, that equilibrium, being able to know who you are what God called you, what God made you, the solution God made you to be. Because imagine your laptop is not only for typing documents now, even though it's more like an upgrade from typewriter. The typewriter could only type. Do you see what I mean? The typewriter could only at the best of the world of what a typewriter could do, it could only type. But when a computer came on board, it just didn't type. It did other things. A laptop, you can play movies on it, you can play music on it, you can play game on it, you can design on it. You see what I mean? At so you there is always an upgrade, always an upgrade, an upgrade, an upgrade. There is always an upgrade. So your original design is very, very important, and that is what VMAP has done for Praise and everyone that has gone through VMAP. Of course, it's not a program that you just breeze through, because doing the inner work is never an easy task. But if you are willing to do the work, you will reap the benefit just like Praise is reaping the benefit. At this junction, Praise, do you have any last words that you want to say before we wrap up?
Okay. I would just like to say that we need faith. You need faith. I need faith. You need to believe that you are born for a purpose, because I strongly believe everything comes from believing. You just There's a reason why the Bible said, I have to mention this. The scripture says, even if your faith is as tiny as a mustard seed. I heard it. I've not seen one, but I heard it's like very tiny.
It's really
That's to
tiny,
show, yeah,
very
that's
tiny.
to that's to show how strong, or how important faith is, that even like a tiny portion of it, an atom of it, can cause a lot of, can move the what was said was, it can move mountains. That's something that seems impossible, but that's
Hmm.
what faith can actually do. So faith is for that thing that you are believing God for, that seems impossible. So
Hmm.
I would just say you should try and just have faith. Have faith,
Hmm.
even if it's as tiny as a mustard seed. Just have faith.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So Praise says that we should have faith because it took her a lot of faith to also be able to apply for this program and be able to get into VMAP in the first place. And it took a lot of faith for her to go through the rigor to now be sitting on this stage with me and we're having this conversation of impact. So yes, as you go into 2026, apply pressure on faith. Apply pressure on faith. Apply pressure on belief. Believe bigger. Believe bigger. Believe. Just believe bigger. And of course, we believe that as you listen to this, as you have listened to this, you are inspired to support the movement, to move this, to take this to the next level, to see that impact can really be made. And of course, we have started with the little that we have, but you that you are listening to this, if you just feel that nudge in your heart, don't silence it. Get in touch with me, get in touch with Praise, and let's move Vima forward. Let's move 10,000 women first forward. Let's bring in more, let's sponsor more people to come into Visionary Mentorship Accelerator program. Let's create more light in the world. Let's help people to hone their light. Let's help people to ignite their original design, to catalyze who they are, to wake them up, to wake up the sleeping giants inside of them. It's not enough to go through school. It's not enough for school to go through you. At the end of the day, who are you before the world told you who to become? That's the question that I asked in my book, and I highly recommend that you go get the book, Finding the Equilibrium. I highly recommend that you go get the book, Finding the Equilibrium by Abimbola Olide. It's going to revolutionize your mind. It's going to change how you think, how you see things. It's going to turn you inside out, and you will never remain the same. And of course, to take this to the next level, you that you're watching this can also sign up for VMAP, and you will not remain the same. And until next time, it's a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from me. And we have another session for this impact reporting. tomorrow. Thank you all so much for joining this live, and for those that are watching the replay, thank you for watching, and I hope that this has ignited some inspiration in you to let you know that you can give the world something new to believe in just by discovering who you truly are and doing it from the depth of who you truly are, and not what the world thinks that you are, but you finding who you truly are. And on that note, it's a good night. Thank you, Praise. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Mom.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.